So I keep telling you, there's huge advantages of making a 22 or 22s your primary firearm for practical needs. Self-defense, I carry an SR-22, Ruger SR-22 pistol. Thing is just accurate as all get up. I use Blazer ammunition. It's from CCI. I've never had a problem with this. The only problem is I ran into recently is the back sight kept sliding around. It was not loose, it was pretty tight, but it would get knocked around pretty easy. So my left and right sighting was always off. So I put a little super glue on that and I haven't had a problem with it. But other than that, this thing is fantastic. I've had it since like 2011. I just love this thing. I've shot a lot of little predators around here with it. And so it's practical for me to have a 22 instead of a big old 9mm, because you know you're shooting rabid raccoons all the time and you'd run out of ammunition having to shoot 9mm all the time. They're so expensive, but 22s are so cheap. And then I got this old Marlin. They don't even make these anymore. This is a Marlin Model 60. I've got another one at Mom's house. Try to get that back one of these days. I refurbished that one. It's got a, well, I think it had a strap on. Maybe I took the strap off, but I varnished it and painted it. It was beautiful. But this thing, I've got a laser sight on it because my right eye went bad. So I put a laser sight on it so I can acquire the target quicker than I can with my left hand eye. Now with the pistol, it wasn't a big deal. The transition to the left eye was pretty easy. But with the rifle, I had to shift my entire posture with it. But we had some excitement around here this morning. Carolyn sent me a Facebook post of the town down the ways. Somebody had asked, why is the ATF in town? So I'll explain all that. But first I wanted to cover a few topics. I know that a lot of people don't think I'm very macho. As a matter of fact, people call me wussy and take out the W, put a P. And I'm called that on a regular basis. I don't know if I'm called that on a regular basis now because I keep pointing it out that these macho men think I'm wussy, or if it's just trolls using it as a phrase that they think is getting to me. It doesn't get to me because I think it's ridiculous how macho men thump their chest talking about how great they are and how they're going to survive the apocalypse when they don't even know how to can food. I'm going to smoke my meat. Well, no, you're not. I can guarantee it, it'll go bad. Oh no, they do it in Alaska. Well, you don't live in Alaska. It's a lot colder in Alaska. So there might be something to that. So I'd rather sit in the kitchen with my apron on, being called a wussy, and surviving. Same thing applies to this. Everybody talks about that we have to defend our Constitution, we have to defend our way of life, our rights. Well, if they're taking away your guns, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. But they're not going to take this, which again, I'm going to explain in a minute. This is a tube fed, so you put your ammo in right here. It's a little dangerous. I've never liked this. Even on the other gun I got, I had a few Henrys, but they all make you put your hand right here at the barrel. I've never really liked that. But now I have a Marlin. My daughter has it actually. It's a lever action Marlin. My grandpa gave that to me when I was 13 years old. That was my 13-year-old birthday present. He bought it when I was born. It's a 1970s Marlin, but I was born in 71. I really liked that gun. Marlin makes a pretty neat rifle. It's fairly accurate. This one's micro groove, so the micro barrel rifling apparently makes it more accurate. Now, a lot of people will compare this to the Ruger 22. And the Ruger has a magazine, a detachable magazine. So you can put a bigger magazine on it. And like I said, this is out of production, but there's a lot of them still around that you probably buy. If you see one, I would highly recommend you pick this one up. And then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take it apart and clean it. Every Marlin, well, every 22, but every Marlin I've ever played with needed cleaned. And it just won't feed properly unless you clean it. So get on YouTube, learn how to take it apart and clean it. But I've said many times that 22 is the way to go. Like I showed you my pistol. But you need knockdown power. Well, I don't know if you need knockdown power. I've seen a lot of people shoot a lot, including my father, my neighbor, an old neighbor I used to have, take deer with 22. And now I got this laser sight. I can't miss. I actually considered getting a laser sight for this And just the other day, it actually comes with a position where you can put a laser sight on. This gun actually came with a pistol mounted light. I took it off. It makes it hard to carry is the problem. But I consider putting a laser on this. It's $108 for the Ruger model, and it's $30 for an off-brand model. So I don't know, if my eyes keep getting worse, I might do that. But for now, I still think there's something to the iron sights, so I'll stick with it. Like I said, I glued it. I've painted the sights because they wear out over time, so I painted them white. I don't want to point the gun to myself, so I'm not really sure how I can show you. But maybe you can see that I've painted the sight. I watch this guy on YouTube who talks about self-defense every day. I watched him for years, maybe 7 years, 8 years. Watched him every day. And he always shows a video and then talks about the video and how to improve. And the thing I've noticed about his videos is if you start shooting at people, they tend to run off. So if we're worried about shooting people, I have no worries that I'm going to not be able to defend myself. I mean, there's going to be situations where, yeah, they'll be on PCP and you're not going to be able to defend yourself because they can't feel pain. That's why I practice with this all the time, is because I want to be a really good shot. And if I need to put out the nervous system, and I don't want to get too graphic here, but you just got to be accurate. But also the thing that bothers me about firearms and people, conservatives, is everybody wants to shoot everybody. I saw a video the other day, a guy walked into a gun store. The channel I was telling you about. Guy walked into the gun store, walked in behind the counter, there was nobody around. He opened the cash register, took the money. The guy walked out of the building. He was not armed. There was no evidence of being armed. One of the employees shot him in the back, ran out into the parking lot, shot him in the back again. The employee is being tried for murder now. And he should be. We don't go around killing people because it's fun to do. And I went down into the comment section, he says, it's a pretty sad society when we can't defend ourselves anymore without going to prison. Well, first of all, he wasn't defending himself, he was defending the money. Firearms and self-defense are supposed to be used as a last resort. That's why I got pepper spray. I've told you recently that I've been approached twice and I was pretty uncomfortable. And there was no reason to defend myself with deadly force when I just pepper spray him and run out of there if it escalated. The person in the comment section probably is a conservative, and conservatives are very concerned about the Constitution and having a right not taken away from us. There is a right that says that we're all entitled to a jury trial. We're all entitled to face our accusers. We're all entitled to due process. But this guy in the comment section and the employee in the gun store took away that guy's due process because they want to be able to defend their stuff. Well, no. He goes to jail. They arrest him. He goes to jail. They try him. He's either found guilty or not guilty. You know, the process. So we're always worried about the Constitution being taken away from us, but then we're the first ones who says, no, I want to shoot first and ask questions later. Well, then what happened to the Constitution that you want to defend so much? I'm not a big fan of people saying, hey, we're going to go around shooting everybody, because that is the comments that get our guns taken away. Those are the statements that make us sound radical and crazy. No, these are for last resort. I carry my .22 primarily for the rodents and the possums and the raccoons around here, even the groundhogs. The groundhogs are a nightmare around here. Make big old holes that you trip and break your ankle in. That's why I carry primarily. Now, do I carry out on the streets? Well, of course I carry out on the streets. But the first thing I'm going to use is my pepper spray. The first thing I'm going to use is my ability to de-escalate and walk away from a situation. Hopefully, if I can, maybe I'll run away from a situation. Oh, you're a coward. No, I'm not a coward. You have a right to stand your ground. I have a right to stand my ground, but I also have the intelligence to say, I don't need to. And so having a right also means you have a responsibility. And if you're just going to go around shooting someone, I don't think you're very responsible. And this is what makes the ATF want to take our guns away. We are telling everybody, first shoot, then ask questions. No, it's the other way around. Ask questions, then shoot. You have to be in fear for your life. That guy was not in fear for his life. The guy was taking his money and running away. Now, I know you're not seeing the video clip, but it was so obvious this guy was completely harmless. He was stealing money, and you don't die for stealing money. Well, they do in Texas. Well, no, if you read Texas law, the only time you shoot, I think, is after dark if they're taking your property, and it has to be on your property. The store was not his property. Congress just wrote a law. They're going to assign a number to it soon. All of YouTube is up in arms about this law. What it is any semi-automatic that can use the gases of the bullet and cycle it and automatically, semi-automatically I should say, they want to ban. It has to have a magazine. Really encompasses a lot. Now, they did make an exclusion. The main exclusion said that we can still have a pistol that cycles by itself in a semi-automatic mode where it cycles back with the gases of the bullet, but we can only have 10 round magazines. But when we go to the rifle, it pretty much bans all of it. If it's a semi-automatic rifle, it's banned. I'm not actually a big fan of semi-automatics. This is a semi-automatic, but I've always been a fan of lever action. I told you my grandpa gave me a Marlin. I've had Henrys. Man, I love those Henrys. The Henry 22 and the Henry 357 is just an absolutely fantastic rifle. I got to be thinking about all the folks that want to have all these macho guns and go around and be macho. Well, this is why I don't want to go around being macho. If I can just be laid back, mind my own business, be able to defend myself, but I don't need a cannon to do that. Oh, I do. No, you don't. You just need to practice with cheap ammo. I just feel like there's a lot of people in the world that just want to go around shooting people legally. And it's not legal just to go around shooting people. As a matter of fact, I just told you I bought some kind of like insurance. It's not insurance. You can buy insurance, but the program I'm in is just a group of lawyers who work like an insurance program. So they'll defend me. I pay in $20 some odd a month, and they defend me in court if I have to defend myself with a legal weapon. So even pepper spray. Because my biggest concern is YouTube. YouTube's a dangerous job. So I'll just write it off as a business expense. The thing I wanted to bring up is they won't ban this one. And I really like that. It's nothing fancy. It does the job. Every time I needed it to work, it works. The reason they won't ban this one is because it doesn't have a detachable magazine. The magazine is a tube. I just don't see the need to be fancy and then worry about it every time the government wants to take something away. Now, here's the thing about it, is YouTube's all up in arms about this bill. And it is a scary bill. It is, when you read it, it's like, man, they're really coming after us now. But in the end, it's never going to pass. It would be insane if even a quarter of the Republicans voted on this thing. There's no way it's going to pass. And if it by chance did pass, it would immediately be challenged in court. They're going to find it unconstitutional. You can't just ban all these common rifles that's been used for decades. And I mean, we've just won a bunch of cases in court, the Supreme Court, for the Second Amendment anyway. The Bruin one is the big one. Illinois right now is wanting everybody to register their ARs, 15s, 14s, whatever they are. They have to be registered. Well, it's already going to the Supreme Court. Instead of getting on YouTube screaming and hollering how terrible the life is, just call your congressman. Heck, it's even easier nowadays. You can write your congressman in an email, and they do get back to you. Write your senators. Make it hurt for them. Make them understand. Now, we did have a little bit of excitement around here. So this morning, Carolyn, like I said, gave me her phone. She said, read this. And somebody posted that the ATF was going around this area. Now, this area is nothing. There's nobody here. A bunch of hillbillies. And I can say that because this is literally hillbilly country. Oh my gosh, she has an American flag. The thing is when they come knocking on my door and they want to see my firearms, of course, ask for a warrant. That's the first thing. Don't open your door. Yell through the door, where's my warrant? But if they do figure out a way to say, hey, I want to look at your firearms, sure, go ahead. Are you really going to take away my 22? Now, like I said, the Ruger on that Congress bill, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, does have a detachable magazine. So in that bill, that Ruger 22 would be illegal, but this one's not. So pick these up. These are nice. Not everything has to be macho man crazy. I'm just going to thump my chest and call everybody a wussy if they don't do what I'm doing. And second, stop telling everybody that you're going to shoot somebody. It's not the conservative way. It's not the way that we are supposed to turn the other cheek. We're supposed to forgive. But all I ever hear in the comment section of any gun channel is, I'd shoot him first and ask questions later, or some reference like that. It's ridiculous. We can't shoot people in this country anymore. What? No, you can't shoot people. You've never been able to shoot people. No country in the world can shoot people. We're supposed to respect life. And the first thing we want to do is take it away. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was talking about the tiny house. So I hope I can inspire you to downsize everything so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.